تلألئ في السماء تجلل الرحمن وتعظم المولى القدير وتعبد المنان وتحفز النفس الكريمة تبتغي الجنات بحلول شهر الصوم والرحمات والرضوان. روح تلألئ في السماء تجلل الرحمن وتعظم المولى القدير وتعبد المنان وتحفز النفس الكريمة تبتغي الجنات بحلول شهر الصوم والرحمات والرضوان.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ramadan Mubarak to everyone. From here at Al Mamour, we want to wish everyone a very happy, blessed, and fruitful Ramadan, inshallah. We are very excited this year because we have a very special program that was prepared by our very own Al Mamour students.
شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان.
My name is Muhammad Abdul Rahman and I am a student of Al Mamour School. Alhamdulillah, we are very excited to announce that our Ramadan series is coming back, this time bigger and better. To follow us, please follow us on Facebook from 11:30 to 12 p.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays. See you there. Program you will ever see.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope everybody has a great Ramadan and please watch our live stream.
Ramadan Mubarak. Happy Ramadan. Ramadan Mubarak. Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Ryan Ahsan. I am in 12th grade. Inshallah, I'll be reciting from Surah Ar-Rahman, ayahs 1 to 30. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان. والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان. والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. رب المشرقين ورب المغربين. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يخرج منهما اللؤلؤ والمرجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان وله الجوار المنشآت في البحر كالأعلام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يسأله من في السماوات والأرض كل يوم هو في شأن فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان صدق الله العظيم.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. My name is Brother A and I am the assistant principal at Al-Ma'mur School, and I want to take this opportunity to share a quick message about something that I want us to bear in mind, something that I want us to carry with us throughout the month of Ramadan. So without further ado, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. Allah says in the Quran, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu kutiba alaykum as-siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. O you who believe, fasting has been made an obligation on you in the same way that it was made an obligation on those before you, so that you can develop taqwa. This ayah, there's a lot of ayat, there's a lot of ahadith surrounding siyam, surrounding Ramadan, but this ayah is probably one of the very most important. And it's something that we should carry with us, something that we should bear in mind throughout this month of Ramadan. Why? Because this ayah is so unique in what it says, that it's not obvious when you first look at it, but it's so unique, and I'll show you how. So Allah begins the ayah and He says, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, he said, anytime Allah starts an ayah by saying, O you who believe, He said, open your ears. And in this case, Allah says, O you who believe, kutiba alaykum as-siyam. Siyam has been made an obligation on all of you. Plural, not you in specific, but everyone. It has been made an obligation on everyone. كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. In the same way that it was made an obligation on everyone before you. Okay? Normally, whenever Allah makes anything an obligation, be it in the Quran or in the Ahadith, whenever anything is made an obligation, it's usually made an obligation on an individual level, on the person itself. Whereas over here, Allah is saying, Kutiba alaykum. On all of you, siyam has been made an obligation. And He continues and He says, Kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. In the same way that it was made an obligation on everyone before you. He, instead of talking about the individual, He's talking about the community. He's saying that the obligation has been made on the community, on everyone. And not only is He talking about the community of today, He's talking about the community of the past as well. He's connecting everyone. Allah is connecting everyone. Okay, and it's as if Allah is taking this obligation and He's saying that Siyam and Ramadan is something that connects the body, that makes us one, something that we come together upon, right? And when we look at Ramadan and what Ramadan does and how we should be behaving in Ramadan and what we should be doing in Ramadan, right? We learn that the purpose behind this, or one of the reasons why Allah has chosen to do this, is because it's Allah telling us that Ramadan should not be something that we do on our own. Ramadan should not be something where we are waking up in the morning, we are fasting, and then we go home and we eat, and we are just doing things by ourselves. It is not an obligation, or it is not something that is supposed to be done on an individual level. Ramadan is by design something that brings the families together, something that brings the communities together. Think about it. In Ramadan, we eat iftar together. We come together to eat iftar. We come together to eat suhoor. We come together for tarawih. Right? On time and time again, whatever you're doing in Ramadan, time and time again, you're coming together as a community. And this is the purpose of Ramadan, or one of the very many purposes of Ramadan, that we spend time with our family, that we spend time with our parents, and that we mend bonds that have potentially been broken. If there's somebody out there who has hurt you, somebody who has offended you, then this is the time to forgive and mend those bonds, right? Reestablish those bonds. If you have hurt somebody, this is the time to try to correct those bonds as well. Ramadan is the month to do it, right? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he tells us that anyone who is able to exit Ramadan without being forgiven, they have lost. Okay? It's as if Allah's forgiveness is so wide and so easy to get in the month of Ramadan that if you cannot achieve it, then you have lost. And if you want Allah's forgiveness, if you're looking for Allah's forgiveness, one of the very best ways that you can accomplish that, one of the very best ways that you can earn that, is by forgiving others. If you forgive others, then Allah might look at that and He might forgive you. In your mercy towards others, Allah might have mercy towards you. And so again, if there's any kind of scenario or any kind of situation where you feel like bonds have been broken or bonds are not as strong as they should be, this is the time to correct it. Okay? And Allah continues and He says, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you can develop taqwa. And when we say taqwa, what we mean, the word taqwa refers to, or rather its literal meaning is literally shield, right? And so Allah is saying that the purpose of siyam is to develop, quote unquote, shield. It sounds a little bit odd. So what exactly are we developing a shield towards? What are we protecting ourselves from, right? And we learn from ahadith and from the sayings of the scholars and whatnot that the shield that we're generating is that of protecting ourselves from the anger of Allah, right? What we're trying to do is to develop in our hearts, to develop a shield wherein we protect ourselves from the anger of Allah. And so that means that we should be approaching this month in such a way. We should be viewing Ramadan as a sort of training ground where in this 1 month we spend our time fasting, we spend our time praying, we spend our time making dua, right? We have a schedule such that we're maximizing on this month. The reward in this month is immense. And so we're trying to maximize the benefit that we are able to, extract from this month. And then from that, the heart corrects itself. It purifies itself through our actions. It purifies itself such that when we exit Ramadan, we are different from the way we entered it. Okay? Again, when we exit Ramadan, we should be different from the way that we entered it. Okay? And so it's important to note that if you enter Ramadan one way and you exit Ramadan in the same way, you are the same person after Ramadan, your Ramadan was not a success. Okay, your Ramadan was not a success. A successful Ramadan is one where the heart develops taqwa. One where the heart purifies itself, cleans itself, such that by the end of it, it is not the same as when it started. Okay? And I hope that every one of us can carry this ayah with us throughout the month of Ramadan. This ayah gives us direction. It tells us what our priorities should be during this month. Okay? Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, O you who believe, kutiba alaykum as-siyam. Siyam has been made an obligation upon you. Kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum, in the same way that it has been made an obligation on those before you. La'allakum tattaqun, so that you can develop taqwa. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك.
Assalamu alaikum. Today we'll be speaking about how different countries celebrate Ramadan. There are about 1.8 billion Muslims in the world. This means that there are Muslims everywhere, all around the globe, all celebrating different months and holidays such as Ramadan, which is holy. Now, what is Ramadan? Ramadan is one of the holiest months in Islam, taking place in the 9 months of the Islamic calendar. This is when Muslims fast for an entire month and just restrain themselves from any desires they have.
Many countries around the world have their traditions and customs, which makes the Ramadan beneficial and worthwhile. Different countries have different traditions during Ramadan. Muslims in Indonesia perform several rituals to purify themselves. Badusan Javanese for to bathe is a ceremony practiced in several areas of Central and East Java. It shows how religion and culture is connected in Indonesia. During Ramadan, cannons are fired daily at the end of each fasting day. This is a tradition in the Middle East. This ritual, known as Mithal Iftar, started in Egypt over 200 years ago.
By following certain traditions during Ramadan, you may be able to make your Ramadan more significantly enjoyable than it already is. If you follow certain traditions, including giving out money and food during Ramadan, you can also gain more rewards and be cleansed of your sins. However, some traditions may put you at a harm or disadvantage during Ramadan. Some traditions could be distrustful and could not stick to the rules of Ramadan. It could also be haram and you might not know it, so it's better not to do it at all. For instance, a tradition that is very rewarding for everyone to follow is sharing food and inviting people over for suhoor or iftar. Not only does this increase bonds, but it also gives you tons of barakah, and in general, it is a generous and good thing to do. It will increase your bond with Allah as well if you also read the Quran and be friendly to others. Furthermore, traditions such as when mosques hold huge iftars for everyone to come, ranging from old to poor to regular people, so that everyone can break their fast and eat without being lonely or unable to afford it. On the other hand, some traditions could be at a disadvantage, as I said, such as hanging out with the wrong people, and saying or doing inappropriate and haram things. Eating food before iftar, fasting for too long as it can be unhealthy, eating too little during iftar, and more. Some of these traditions are unhealthy and haram, and it is better not to do or attempt at all.
Finally, when it's sunset, eat iftar and pray Maghrib. It's important to pray all of the 5 prayers during the day as well.
For iftar, let's say our du'as.
Okay. Done.
Let's say Bismillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
More gas here.
Did you guys know that dates is actually a sunnah? Because the Prophet Muhammad used to use dates to break his fast. So every time you eat dates, it's actually healthy for you, and also it's good in rewards.
Yeah, thank you for letting us know.
This is so good.
Food is a part of Ramadan tradition. Family and friends gather to share and enjoy the 2 meals that are served. Iftar is celebrated at sunset when Muslims break their fast, and suhoor is consumed early in the morning before the day starts. It has an important part in many things, such as it helps you obtain patience, gratitude, and compassion.
That's true.
Today we will share some foods that people enjoy eating during Ramadan. For example, biryani, which originated in India. A mixed rice dish, which is mixed with eggs, spices, and meat and vegetables.
Biryani.
Oh yeah, I didn't know.
Halim is a very tasty stew, and it consists of lentils, slow-cooked meat, and more.
It's usually also eaten during iftar. My mom usually makes it all the time. It's really spicy and there's a lot of toppings, right, Safana?
Yeah, the taste of halim is really delightful and warming, but it is really spicy for me, so I can't eat it all the time.
I get that, but I love spicy food, but it's okay.
Yeah. I think there's another really popular dish, which is beguni. I think it's eggplant slices.
Yeah.
Dipped and battered and fried.
Yeah, my mom always makes that.
Yeah, that's a staple in our house.
It's a staple. Yeah, it's a staple in every Bengali household. Yeah. It really makes Ramadan as great as it is.
So, as one of the most cherished Bangladesh holidays and the holiest month of the year, Ramadan, As we all know, Bangladeshi streets come to life with lights and decorations. They're all over the streets, and it just looks like Ramadan, and it looks so like festive.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Have you guys been to Bangladesh during Ramadan?
Not really, but I've been there during Qur'ani, which is Eid al-Adha. I'd like to go to Bangladesh for Ramadan one time. It'd be really nice and holy.
Many different people from different cultures celebrate the sacred one differently. But as for our group members, although we're all from Bangladesh, our traditions may have slight differences.
The reciting of the Holy Quran and employing Taraweeh prayers are considered extremely seriously by the Muslim community, as is the sharing of the Holy Quran. During Ramadan, unique treats and meals are prepared, such as jalebi, a delicacy, and piyazu, an onion dish. It's really good. Family always goes to the mosque to break iftar together, and we pray Maghrib and the special prayer. Do you pray at home or in the masjid, Safwana?
We normally pray at home, but we sometimes go to the masjid. But during COVID, my family and I prayed Taraweeh together. It was a very meaningful time, and it was a great time because we all focused on Allah and our religion together.
That must have been really nice. For iftar, my family usually makes Bengali delicacies, and we sometimes eat takeout food. During the day, we are usually sleeping because we have almost no energy. How about you, Safwan and Tasbia?
I love to eat mangoes during iftar. My relatives usually come over and give us a lot of money in celebration of Ramadan.
Lucky.
We don't really do anything special, but my parents bring in a lot of Bengali sweets to eat.
For my family, we usually host iftar dinners at least a few times during Ramadan. My favorite thing to eat at the end of iftar is lychee. Lychee is a tropical fruit, so you can eat it only at one time during the year. But I really hope this year lychee comes out during iftar.
Do you like lychee? I love lychee.
Me too.
The flavor is just so yummy.
It's so juicy. A hobby of mine that I like to partake in during Ramadan is moon sighting. Observing the moon is very special to me as it's the main part of Ramadan. Anika, what do you like doing?
For me personally, we sometimes read Quran together and listen to Quran during Ramadan. Another thing we always do is pray the special prayer at nighttime and eat dates during iftar. It's really a main thing for us.
During the day, we are pretty active and the same as usual, but cautious about what we do.
Thank you for sharing.
So guys, you should think about this question. You guys know Laylatul Qadr, right? The 10 days of a lot of rewards. So we should think about this. How is Laylatul Qadr celebrated in different parts of the world? I'm pretty sure it's the same for everyone. It's that powerful. It's the same time, same everything for everyone, same tradition. And it's as equal for everyone, rewards. It's really nice. So, as I said, when I read the Quran during Ramadan, I usually read this one ayah in Surah Baqarah. It's ayah 184.
فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له وأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
This is significant because it guides Muslims who are fasting for what traditions, precedents, and actions they should do during Ramadan.
بكل الصحب والأحباب، واكتب لنا أن ندخل الجنات بالريان. روح تلألئ في السماء تجلل الرحمن وتعظم المولى.